Hi everyone, I'm Jane, and welcome to Speak Better. If you are a beginner learning English, this conversation is for you. Today, I want to talk to you in very simple English, but I also want to talk about something deeper. How you can become more confident when you speak English. Maybe you understand English when you watch videos. Maybe you can read simple sentences. And maybe you know many English words. But when you try to speak, you suddenly feel nervous. You think about grammar. You search for the perfect word. And then you become quiet. If this happens to you, don't worry. You are not alone. Many English learners feel exactly the same way. The good news is that you can change this. You don't need to become perfect before you start speaking. You need to start speaking before you become perfect. Let's begin with something very simple. Imagine that you wake up in the morning. You open your eyes, look at the time and say, "Good morning." Then you get out of bed and say, "I'm going to start my day." These sentences may look very easy, but they are useful. English is not only about difficult words. Real communication often uses simple words. When you make simple sentences every day, your brain slowly becomes comfortable with English. You stop translating every sentence from your native language. Instead, English starts becoming a natural part of your thinking. For example, when you see a glass of water, don't always think about the word in your first language, and then translate it into English. Try to think directly. This is water. When you feel tired, think, "I'm tired." When you feel hungry, think, "I'm hungry." When you want to go outside, think, "I want to go outside." These small thoughts may seem unimportant, but they can make a big difference over time. Now let's talk about confidence. Confidence does not come first. Practice comes first, and confidence comes later. Many beginners say, "I will speak English when my English becomes good." But this idea can stop you from improving. You become better because you speak. You become confident because you practice. You learn from mistakes because you make mistakes. So if your English is not perfect today, that is completely okay. Let me give you a small example. Imagine you meet someone for the first time. You can say, "Hi, my name is Jane. Nice to meet you." The other person might say, "Nice to meet you too." Then you can ask, "Where are you from?" They can answer, "I'm from New York." You can continue with, "Oh, nice. Do you like living there?" This is a simple conversation, but it is real English. You don't need complicated grammar to have a conversation like this. Let me give you a small example. Imagine you meet someone for the first time. You can say, "Hi, my name is Jane. Nice to meet you." The other person might say, "Nice to meet you too." Then you can ask, "Where are you from?" They can answer, "I'm from New York." You can continue with, "Oh, nice. Do you like living there?" This is a simple conversation, but it is real English. You don't need complicated grammar to have a conversation like this. Now imagine another situation. You are at a coffee shop. You want to order something. You can say, "Hi, can I have a coffee, please?" The person might ask, "Would you like milk?" You can say, "Yes, please." Or "No, thank you." Then you can say, "How much is it?" These are short sentences, but they are useful in real life. This is why I want beginners to focus on useful English. Don't try to memorize hundreds of difficult words at once. Learn words that you can actually use. Learn words about your home, your school, your work, your hobbies, your family, your food, your daily routine, and your feelings. Let's practice talking about your daily routine. You can say, "I wake up at 7, then I brush my teeth. I wash my face. I get dressed. I have breakfast. I go to school." Or you can say, "I go to work. Later, I come home. I have dinner. I watch a video. I read a book. And finally, I go to bed." These sentences are simple, but if you practice them every day, you will become more comfortable speaking English. Now I want you to think about your own day. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? Try to describe your day in English. You don't need a perfect paragraph. Start with one sentence. I wake up at 7, then add another sentence. I drink water after I wake up, then another one. I take a shower and get ready. Slowly, you can create a complete story. Learn words about your home, your school, your work, your hobbies, your family, your food, your daily routine, and your feelings. Let's practice talking about your daily routine. You can say, I wake up at 7, then I brush my teeth, I wash my face, I get dressed, I have breakfast, I go to school. Or you can say, I go to work. Later, I come home, I have dinner, I watch a video, I read a book, and finally, I go to bed. These sentences are simple, but if you practice them every day, you will become more comfortable speaking English. Now I want you to think about your own day. What do you do in the morning? What do you do in the afternoon? What do you do in the evening? Try to describe your day in English. You don't need a perfect paragraph. Start with one sentence. I wake up at 7, then add another sentence. I drink water after I wake up, then another one. I take a shower and get ready. Slowly, you can create a complete story. This is one of the best ways to practice speaking. Talk about your real life. You already know what you did today, so you don't have to think about a difficult topic. You can simply explain your day in English. Another important thing is listening. If you want to speak English better, you should also listen to English regularly. Listen to simple conversations. Listen to short stories. Listen to people speaking naturally. At first, you may not understand every word. That is okay. Try to understand the main idea. Over time, your ears will become more familiar with English sounds. You can also repeat what you hear. This is called shadowing. Listen to a short sentence and repeat it. For example, listen to, how was your day? Then repeat, how was your day? Try to copy the rhythm and pronunciation. Then practice another sentence. What did you do today? Repeat it slowly. You don't need to sound exactly like another person. Your goal is to become clearer and more comfortable. Let's practice some everyday questions. How are you? What are you doing? Where are you going? What do you like? What do you usually do? What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do tomorrow? These questions are extremely useful because you can use them in many situations. Now let's talk about vocabulary. A common mistake beginners make is learning a word and then forgetting it a few days later. The problem is not always memory. Sometimes the problem is that the word was never used. If you learn the word excited, make a sentence with it. I'm excited about my new class. If you learn tired, say, I'm tired after a long day. If you learn busy, say, I'm busy today. Use the word several times. This helps your brain remember it. You can also learn phrases instead of individual words. Instead of only learning decision, learn make a decision. Instead of only learning mistake, learn make a mistake. Instead of only learning break, learn take a break. Phrases are easier to use in real conversations because you learn the words together. Another important point is pronunciation. You do not need perfect pronunciation, but people should be able to understand you. Speak slowly and clearly. Don't rush. When you are nervous, you may speak too quickly. Slow down. Take a small pause between ideas. This can make your speech much clearer. For example, instead of saying everything very quickly, say, Hi, my name is Jane. I'm learning English. I practice every day. Take small pauses. Speak naturally. You don't need to sound like a professional speaker. You just need to communicate. Now let's imagine that you are learning English for a job interview. You may need to introduce yourself. You can say, Hi, my name is Jane. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm interested in this position because I enjoy learning new things and working with people. You can continue with simple sentences about your experience and skills. You can also practice common interview questions. Tell me about yourself. Why do you want this job? What are your strengths? What are your goals? Practice answering these questions aloud. Don't only read the answers. Speak them. If you are learning English for travel, Practice travel conversations. At an airport, you may need to say, "Where is the check-in counter? Which gate should I go to? What time does boarding start?" At a hotel you can say, "I have a reservation. Can I check in? What time is breakfast?" At a restaurant you can say, "Can I see the menu, please? What do you recommend? Can I have the bill, please?" These are practical sentences. When you learn English through real situations, you can remember it more easily. Now let's talk about grammar. Grammar is important, but don't let grammar stop you from speaking. Learn basic grammar first. Understand the difference between present, past, and future. Learn how to make questions. Learn common verbs. Then practice using them. For example, present, I work every day. Past, I worked yesterday. Future, I will work tomorrow. You can change the verb and practice many sentences. I study every day. I studied yesterday. I will study tomorrow. I watch videos every day. I watched a video yesterday. I will watch another video tomorrow. This kind of practice helps you understand sentence patterns. You should also learn common verbs because verbs are the heart of many sentences. Learn words like go, come, get, take, make, give, have, want, need, know, think, feel, like, love, work, study, learn, try, help, start, finish, stop, and remember. Then make sentences with them. I want to learn English. I need more practice. I know the answer. I think this is useful. I feel happy today. I want to try again. Notice something important. These sentences are not complicated, but they are powerful because you can use them every day. Now, if you forget a word while speaking, don't stop the entire conversation. Explain it in another way. Suppose you forget the word umbrella. You can say, "It is something we use when it rains." The other person may understand you. This skill is called describing around a word, and it is very useful. You don't need to know every word. You need to know how to communicate. This is what real fluency means. Fluency is not knowing every English word. Fluency is being able to continue communicating, even when you don't know the perfect word. So, if you forget something, stay calm. Use another sentence. Ask for help. Say, "What do you call this in English?" Or, "I don't remember the word, but it is something we use for." Keep the conversation moving. Now think about your English journey. Maybe you started recently. Maybe you have been learning for years. Whatever your situation is, you can improve. Your past does not decide your future level of English. You can start again today. You can make a simple promise to yourself. I will speak English every day, even for a few minutes. That promise is more valuable than saying, "One day I will become fluent." Don't wait for one day. Start today. Start with one sentence. Then another. Then another. And slowly, those sentences become conversations. Those conversations become confidence. And that confidence can change the way you use English in your daily life. Before we finish, I want you to practice one final introduction. Imagine that you are meeting someone new. Say, "Hi, my name is Jane. I'm learning English because I want to communicate with more people. I know I still make mistakes, but I'm practicing every day. I'm becoming more comfortable speaking English, and I'm not afraid to make mistakes anymore. I believe that if I keep practicing, I will improve." That is the mindset I want you to have. You don't need perfect English today. You just need the courage to speak today. Tomorrow you will practice again. And after many days of practice, you will look back and realize that you have changed. So keep listening, keep speaking, keep learning, keep making mistakes, and most importantly, keep going. Your English journey does not need to be perfect. It just needs to continue. I'm Jane, and this is Speak Better. Remember, you don't have to speak perfect English to speak English. Start with what you know, use it every day, and slowly build from there. Your voice matters. Your progress matters. And every sentence you speak is one step closer to becoming a more confident English speaker. Keep practicing. Keep believing in yourself. And I'll see you in the next lesson.